Late at night, a restless feeling takes control of me, and I can't fight it.
Bill McGee. As a musician, educator, and mentor, Bill McGee has changed lives. In the 1970s, he led a group formerly known as the Snack Shop Band, better known as Trussell, to a major label record deal with Elektra Records. As an educator, he's taught students at the high school and college level, inspiring young people to reach their full potential in academics and in music. As a mentor, he's helped some of Richmond's brightest talents, like D'Angelo, the Super Friends. They all had Bill's example to follow and try to live up to. If you've ever played with Bill, you might know that besides knowing his way around trumpet, one of his greatest talents is arranging. The arranger's job is important, but not many people outside the studio know exactly what they do. While composers create melodies and harmonies, it's the arranger that knows what to do with it. He knows where the pieces go. He makes sure every voice and instrument is harmonized and that the tempo is right. The composer makes the song, the arranger makes it right. Bill is good at arranging outside the studio as well. When he discovered there was a class of high school students who had never set foot on a college campus, he arranged for them to visit schools in Alabama, Maryland, and Florida. When he met a group of young men with rap dreams and no contract, he arranged a record company to release their music. When he saw there was untapped talent in the Richmond area, he arranged a regional talent show that ended years ago, but people are still talking about it. It's hard to imagine music in Richmond without Bill McGee. Bill says he always wanted to be a rock star. We know that didn't work out. Fortunately, someone arranged for him to be in the right place at the right time. Come on down, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. And I thank everyone who came out tonight in support of this Pollak Award, a Pollak Prize. I was fortunate enough to have a grandmother who had gone to Shaw University back in the 1920. And my grandmother said to me, she says, I know that you want to be a performer. She says, but do me a favor. She says, major in education. Major in education so that you'll have something to fall back on in the event that your dreams are not necessarily fulfilled. And it was the best advice that anyone could have ever given me in my life. Because when I did my student teaching and my prep work, I told the teacher, I said, I know now that I don't want to teach. She said, well, she said, why? And I said, because public schools and people, they don't support the arts like they're supposed to. I said, they don't provide instruments, they don't provide, I said, you're telling someone you're giving them the tools to go out here and become a professional. And in reality, you're handicapping them because you're lying to them. You're not preparing them well. And so my teacher said, but that's why we need you. That's why we need you to be a teacher. And so what Craig reflected on is what I spent 10 years as a professional musician. And when synthesizers and disco and rap took over, it was time to get a job. And fortunately, you know, I had followed my grandmother's advice and I got my degree in education, so I was able to get a job teaching in the public schools. And I ran across these young kids and I told them to meet me at Virginia Union because they had a game that day. And the kids asked me, they said, Mr. McGee, where's Virginia Union? And I said, you're here in Richmond and you don't even know where Virginia Union is? He said, we've never been to a college. And so one of the accomplishments, along with the talent show you mentioned, one of the accomplishments that God put it on my heart to say, well, this is why you're here. Remember, my grandmother was a college graduate. And I have kids in the 80s who didn't know, had never been to a college. So we made it our mission to take them to every historically black college and university from Baltimore, Maryland, all the way to Montgomery, Alabama, where we visited the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church, and we went to Florida A&M, and we took them swimming in the Gulf of Mexico. We kind of did a little side trip. And we say, well, not only have you visited all these colleges, but you visited the Gulf of Mexico. We expanded their horizons, and many of them are very successful to this day. One child who is a CPA in Atlanta, her son, she came right out of Blackwell, the South Side, poor child. Her son has a picture of himself sitting with President Obama in the White House. One generation, you can change lives. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Needs understanding. So once again, I'll search the darkness